Jesus, you
What
are
up, what up,
uh
what up?
you are episode 2 of BNF, and this is an interesting one. I haven't known you for very long, but when I posted the one with Trey, you sent me a text. You're like, "Hey, let's do this shit. I'm free tomorrow." So
Yep.
we made it happen, and I think there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of respect that came from me to you, and hopefully vice versa. Just with the introduction from our good friend Jacob, but I I don't really like know you as deep as I want to know you, you know. So I think maybe that's where we'll start. Is like just give us an overview of like who you are, what you value, and yeah, what do you want out of life?
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. My early days, I was kind of raised as a family man. You know, since day one, I would always look up to my cousins and my uncle. Like, they were always there for me, and those were like kind of my role models. They guide me through life. But like the main thing I value in life is like trying to keep a balance between like doing a lot of work, being studious, all that, and like having fun, because too much of one thing is bad. I've always heard that all my life.
Mm.
And I don't know, I just feel like I want to, I guess I don't even know what I want to do, like, to be honest, but I just know, I just know I'm gonna, like, be successful one way or another. I have that confidence in myself.
Good, good, yeah, and that's all you really need. I think in regard to just going back real fast. You said you're raised as a family man, and I absolutely I was as well. I'm half Mexican on my mom's side. It was very familial. On my dad's side, there was still family. Like I'm still tight with them, but it's not as close. It's like love from a distance. Whereas on my
Hmm.
Mexican side, it's very hands on, very like we love you. We're here every step of the way, and that type of love is the type of love that I want to give my kids and the people that I'm around in the future. Um, and I think my brother actually somewhat differs, and I love my brother to death, and this isn't a bad thing, but one thing that has gone around and something we've talked about on like prior podcasts together is this quote, and it's the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Is at times thicker than the water of the womb, and basically meaning sometimes your friends are greater than your family, and I I don't know, dude. Like, I'm sure you have an interesting perspective because you were raised to be like a family man, but like, just can you run me through like what you see as a difference between your family and even some of your closest friends, and like what's similar?
Hmm. Yeah, so I got two brothers. One's 10 and then one's 4. But I don't know, I just feel like I was raised with, like I told you, like my cousins and stuff. And I remember there was a lot of times where like I was an annoying, loud spoken like kid and stuff, and like I'd like argue with other people and stuff. But just having that confidence that they're around me, like that's probably why I did it. But there was times where like I was just mouthing off and like I got into altercations, but they were there for me, and we just. And I feel like I want to provide that sort of protection, like to my brothers, like pass it on type stuff. Because I don't know, just the thought of someone like messing with my brother, like he's getting stomped out. And I feel like I like personally, I know some people that like they're not that close with their brothers and stuff, and maybe because like I know like especially like if you're the middle child or you're the youngers, like you really don't like you grow up not hating your brother, but like disliking him in a way. But like little do they know, the older siblings like they're the one that loves them the most. Because I know for a fact my little brothers do not like me, but little do they know like I'd give them like the world. They we
Right.
argue and stuff all the time, but I do anything for them. But I feel like, 'cause like my cousin, him and his brother, they're not that close. They don't even like live with each other, but they're the same age. They're both 20. And I just feel
Right.
like I value that relationship with my brothers, you know. Like he has like events and stuff at school, and I always like make time for them, you know. Like he has orchestra, he be going to clubs and stuff. Like even though I don't want to be there, like I'm gonna be there, you know.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. That's incredible. And in regards to like you guys having your fights or maybe him not seeing, you know, your the amount of effort that you put in, yet there's always that underlying love that will never go away. Um, I think that raises such an interesting point because even in times of confrontation, it's important to talk it out and be brotherly even in those times. One thing that my boss said, like we had this big altercation at work, just times were tough and everyone was on thin ice. And one thing my boss said is he was like, we're family, so we fight like family, you know. And
Mm,
that one really resonated with me because it doesn't matter what confrontation I have with my brother, with my sister, with whoever in my family. It's like I want to resolve it, and I want to get to the answers as as cordially as possible, um, and just provide like that constructive path to getting there. So I don't know,
hmm.
dude. It's such an interest. Like family's always been so interesting on my end. Um, I've had very interesting dynamics in my family, and you know, not getting into too much detail on me, but I think there was a time where I kind of lost that familial meaning. Like I like my brother we'd be on podcasts and he would be talking and he'd be like fuck family, and when someone you look up to is like saying like fuck family, and then with everything that went down with my father, it was like oh man, like kind of fuck family. Yeah, the blood of the covenant is always thicker than the water of the womb, which just isn't true, but that's how I felt. And I never would say fuck family, but it lost meaning, and I'm wondering, was there ever a time in your life where you kind of lost that familial um, meaning or that feeling of family? And how did you, get back on course? Like, have you gone through that at all, or has it always been like consistent in your life?
I don't know. I just feel like as you age, like you always you grow up and you always think your parents are in the right no matter what, like in any situation. But like you grow up, you have your own thoughts and stuff. Like there's been times when like I'd just be going down my own path in life and my parents would say something, but like I'm mature enough to be like maybe that's not 100% correct, maybe that's not 100% right. And I guess like I don't know, maybe because they're my parents, I don't want to like say that, so I just do like what they want me to do. But there's like a point to where like you want to make your parents proud, so you'll do what they want, but you also want to do what you want without like, you know, trying to disrespect what they taught you, something like that. Because I know my dad, he'd always like push me to like I don't know, like try to do like some health stuff, like be a doctor and stuff like that. And growing up, I wasn't even like trying to go to college or nothing like that, because everyone that I know, like all my role models, they do like HVAC and like trades and stuff. Now that was like the path I was like thinking I was gonna go into, but then I met like my friends from high school and stuff, and my cousin. Dude, if I didn't have my cousins, I'd be a completely like different person. Like I told them, I was like, I want to be like you. I wanted to go into the trade, but they're like no, like you could be better than us, you know? Like you have potential, you have opportunity, and I just think about that like every now and then whenever I'm like I lose motivation or something. Because ever since ever since I was young, they were always there. Like anytime I struggle with anything, they were always there. And I don't know what
Right.
I'd do without them, you know?
Ah, it's beautiful, dude. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so, I don't know, it's so powerful when the people around you genuinely want you to be better than them. And it's a, common thing for your parents to, like my dad's goal was for me to be better than him, you know, and my goal for my kid is for him to be better than me, my future kid. And I think that mentality is so valuable when it comes to, your offspring, but it's even more impactful when it comes from, peers and people who are of the, same age and, um, similar background and similar perspective, because they genuinely, they believe it, like it's so easy for me to get on here and be like, no, I want my future kid to be better than me. But it's like, they're not around. Like they're not gonna see this perspective that I've built as of now. They will in the future. But for someone to be along your side and genuinely just want better for you, that's a whole nother type of love, and that's a whole nother type of family. So, I'm super grateful that you've had that in your life, and I'm glad we get this version of Jesus, because you're a good guy, and not to glaze, bro. I know how you feel, but I know how you feel about all that. But genuinely, like you're a good dude, and I'm excited to see where you go. And you have my full support in this. And I know I haven't told you straight up, like I want you to be better than me, but I want you to be the best version of you. And fucking let's bring it, dude.
Hmm.
Let's bring it. So I think with that, like I asked Trey this, and we talked about similar subjects, but I think I think it's the most important thing in the world, of finding that competition within yourself, because it's so easy to rely on, outside factors and outside motivation. Like what inspires you? What motivates you to, get up in the mornings, give your all to being studious, and, just chasing after like what you want,
Hmm. Yeah, so every day, and I wake up and there's always that struggle in the morning to get up, and then I think about like, damn, like my parents really came from nothing, and I out here with the opportunity to like do anything I want, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go back to sleep and not take advantage. Like even just going to class, like it's rare to have that like that option, Like, dude, like I remember when like we were, cause my parents they both came from Mexico, like literally with nothing, and there was days where like we would be like we wouldn't have a house and we had to live with like cousins and stuff, and that's like kind of how I met them and how I formed that bond. Like when you have nothing and when someone's there for you, like that's when that bond, that unbreakable bond builds.
right? Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I,
No,
I just I just think back to those days, bro. I wake up, cause I went to like 8 different elementary schools just cause like I wasn't able to consistently go to the same one. I had to keep switching cause like living situations and stuff. But yeah, like I just think back to those days and I'm like, damn, I really made it this far. I could do so much. Like I'm gonna get up. I have to get up.
right. It's actually super powerful, dude. It's like I don't to go to the family first. Like bonding through adversity is like a common theme in in my life as well. And namely when my dad moved to New York, my mom and I, we weren't on the best of terms, and it really took um, you know that whole situation for us to bond stronger than we ever have. And obviously very different situations, but the idea is there, the adage is there, bonding through adversity, and finding your stride in that way, and not wanting to go back to what you previously had. While you made good relationships and good bonds along the way, it's like you don't want those situations to arise again. And I think I'm in a similar boat with my family. It's like my mom just got remarried, and it's like I'm so fucking stoked for her, and like we went through a lot, but I would never want to go back to that place of, a broken household. So, you know, it's difficult to look at the past and understand and fully um, comprehend that it's genuinely gone. Like I don't have to worry about that anymore. Like I have bigger shit to focus on. Because sometimes like I'll think about it and it feels like yesterday. And I get like that pressure in my chest of like, okay, we went through this, or like we're going through this. That's the feeling that I get sometimes. And it leads me to like break down and cry every now and then. And like I think that's healthy for me. I think I need that, because it reminds me of, again, like you said, how far we've taken it and how far away we are from that. So I admire your perspective in that regard, and it's I don't know, dude. It's super valuable to look back at what you had and look back at how shitty times were and just understand like this is in my control now. Like I don't have to worry about this anymore. I can just like focus on me and be the best version of myself and ensure that like, that doesn't happen in the future, you know? So I don't know, history repeats itself if you don't educate yourself on it, is what I believe. Like it's always gonna be fucking repeating unless we truly understand where we came from and choose to correct it. That's a stare now. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I agree
But
with you. Like I feel like history gonna repeat itself if you let it, you know. You gotta take those precautions to not let it happen again, not let those situations happen.
definitely. And so I've a kind of follow-up question to this, but you talk about your cousins wanting you to be better than them. Is there How do you motivate them? And is it possible, or are they like, doing their own thing, or do you feel any obligation to motivate them, and what is that dynamic like? Because I know
Hmm
your cousins are there for you, and you told some amazing and very compelling stories, but how are you there for them?
hmm Yeah, they're giving me so much, and I do have those moments in my life where I'm like, damn, the youngest out of all of them. Like, what can I do for them? But the way I feel like I motivate them is every now and then I remind them like what they're working towards. Like we share our dreams with each other, and we're like, all right, one day we're all gonna get there. And I don't know, 'cause I feel like people every now and then like they lose what they're working towards. They just wake up, work, just like what are you actually like working towards? Not like a monetary value type of thing, but like a goal that you have that you want to do. Because it's so easy to like just wake up, rinse and repeat everything. You need those
Right,
those moments where you're like, damn, like what am I really doing this for? Like
right,
what's the goal at the end?
right.
And
So I
I feel like
know.
for
Go
me,
go
like
on.
I make goals that like are not even attainable, not like unattainable, but like not realistic, but like just the idea of that goal is like what keeps me motivated. Like I always joke about with Jacob, like our good friend, we, we brought this up recently. We're like, all right, do one day we're gonna have a Range Rover all black to windows with subs, and we're gonna cruise around the city. But like realistically, I wouldn't want a Range Rover, stuff like that. But just the idea of like one day we're gonna have a car that we bought ourselves that we could just drive around the city with, knowing we made it. Like just the idea of that goal is what keeps us motivated.
Right. So shifting gears, no pun intended. But dude, I'm sorry, that was so cringe, dude. No, no, but shifting gears, I think you touched on finding that motivation that's not even materialistic, and I know you brought up this car, but like realistically, what are we going after? Like what
Hmm
what is your motivation?
Yep.
Aside from the materialism and all of that.
There's just one day where I want to wake up and I just want to know that I don't have to worry about like rent or food, you know? Like that's just really my ultimate goal. I could care less like what type of car I have, what house I'm in. Like as long as I know I have a roof over my head and I have food, like, there's really nothing else that I could think of that I'd want. But like once I have that opportunity, like to just not worry about where I'm living and what I'm eating, like that's really all I could ask for, you know? Like obviously I have
Right,
stuff that I want to buy in the future and stuff, but like my main goal is like I just never want to worry about like damn, am I gonna make rent this month? Damn, I'm gonna have to downsize my meal for this week, you know? Like
right,
I want to be able to go out and be like I have a home to go to and I'm able to purchase this food, no worries, you know?
right. Yeah,
That's like
dude.
my
It's
ultimate goal.
That's something I think you, me, and Jacob were talking about this like last week, but it's we were talking about money and the perspective and how it just shifts like the more money you make, like dramatically, like Jeff Bezos when he buys food or pays for dinner, it's like he's not thinking about he's like I could fucking pay for this whole restaurant and not even blink,
Mm,
not even think twice. And I think I don't know, dude, like that level of um I guess that level of fucking wealth is just so like I can't even comprehend it, dude. I really can't. And I hope one day, I at least get some sort of idea to, what that would look like. But I don't know if I want that level of success even. Like I just like you said, I'm very simple of if I know I have a roof over my head and if I know I can provide for my future family, um, I think that's enough for me, that is the dream. And I have like personal goals and fitness goals and like all this other shit, but I think in my eyes it's like if I can go to bed and just wake up in the morning and like have a fucking good morning, like get some coffee, get on the patio and read a book, if I could do that like once a week, then I think I've made it, you know so it's very interesting. But a lot of people, there's a famous, I don't know if it's famous, but there's an interview with Logic, and Logic talks about this idea of money. And he he just got like a huge contract, and he was a multi millionaire. And he went to a therapist, and he was just like, I have anxiety, like I don't know what to do, like I wake up and I'm breathing heavy, I can't sleep, I don't know what it is. And the therapist is like, is it rooted in your money? And he's like, I think so. And she's like, what do you fear? And he's like, what if one day I lose it all? And the therapist is like, yeah, what if one day you lose it all, like what would you do? And Logic's like, I would grind my ass off and get it back, you know and there's a lot of value in that, but it goes even further because the therapist is like, I have people in here, billionaires, that always say, like, if I just had one more billion, I'd be okay, you know? And I just think, like, for that sentence to even be real, like, you have to be so far off the deep end, or like so far, like, successful, like, on the fucking, the other side of the pendulum. And it's like that's a whole nother level that I don't want to even see. I really don't. Like, so I guess what I'm getting at is like, what do you do to keep yourself grounded within your aspirations? Like, I know, you're a family guy, you're doing all this, school, you're, wanting to provide down the line. And, we'll touch more on like what you want to do in your career field and stuff. But like, how do you stay grounded and like make sure that you're not losing yourself?
mhm, yep. Uh, Touching back on that that insurmountable wealth thing, like I always think about like if I had just infinite money glitch, like I feel like nothing you buy is really like valuable anymore, you know? Because I feel like I don't know, I go to the mall and I buy you buy a shirt, right? and you think, damn, that was like an hour of work. Damn, like I'm gonna have to work an hour to like get that money again. Like let's say let's go even beyond that. Let's say you have like just billions and billions and billions. You go to the dealership, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get that car. Like in your head, like you're not even thinking about like you have to work for that, you know? You could buy the whole freaking car shop and you don't have to think about that. But the way I stay grounded is like I don't know. I'm one of those people that like just really take in the environment, you know? Like I just be walking around and I just ask myself like what is this person doing here, you know? Like why would he be here? And that's like asking yourself that like makes you think about like okay, why are you here? And like you just got to remind yourself that there's other people doing the same stuff as you and like realistically you're not special, you know? And you gotta make yourself special. You gotta stand out. You gotta do things that other people wouldn't. And just I don't know, just every now and then you gotta look around and be like, all right, these people are here. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, what can I do to be even better than them? But then at the same time, you gotta like let's say you're walking through a park and you see a homeless dude, you're like, damn, like something probably happened. Like I gotta avoid the mistakes that he probably made. And I think that balance is important, you know?
Right,
Like trying to not be rock bottom, but also try to be better than the people around you, you know? Because
right,
because I talked to like some homeless people, like you know how they be coming up to you, like I actually talk to them, like I find that entertaining. But like a lot of them be like war vets and stuff. They just had like some tough luck in life, you know? And I'm like, damn, like that sucks. Like a good thing I have this opportunity to do what I'm doing, you know, keep you grounded. Be like, damn, if I make some little mistakes here and there, like I could have been here, you know?
right. Yeah, no, it's crazy that you'll never like tap into that perspective until you have that conversation. And I think that's genuinely why I really wanted to kind of pursue this podcast and do it, on my own. Like typically, if me and my brother, we started with what we called Quantum Thoughts podcast, and it became so, um, I don't know, it just became like it was just him and I talking, and we weren't doing research on topics, we weren't doing anything, and it just felt like so mundane, and we were just going with the motion. And again, I love my brother to death, and I want nothing more than to jump on a call with him for an hour and just chop it up. But maybe on a public forum, that's not where to do it. And that's why I really wanted to pursue this of just, talking with my homies, talking with, random people and just get on a podcast and really just, understand you and understand, your perspective because I genuinely, dude, like Jacob and I, we were talking about this, but it's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, or show me your friends and I'll show you who you truly are. And I believe in that so heavily, and I talked about this on the last one, but I was constantly trying to find something that represented me. I was like, what can I do? What kind of content can I make that just embodies me? And I finally figured it out. It's like my friends. That's simple. The answer is simple. It's like my friends are great representations of like what I am. And I think a lot of your values really align with that idea of, I do believe in that. I do believe like you have to talk to a homeless dude to understand how blessed you truly are. Dude, I can't express it enough. It's like you have to hear these stories because if you don't, then you're just gonna be like everyone else in the world. You're just gonna be walking through and not appreciating the little things. Um, like you said, dude. It's like if you have that amount of money to where buying a shirt doesn't give you the gratification or it doesn't feel like you're having to work for it. I think the same goes for your feelings and your emotions of if you don't know how bad it can get, you'll never appreciate the highs. You'll never appreciate, what you have, you know, and that's a whole nother end of life that I don't I don't think it's valuable to to see, like you don't want to get that bad. So, staying grounded has been something in my life that I've really emphasized. And tried to do. And I hope this podcast, can do that for me more. And I hope people watching and people I have on can also learn something in the process, because dude, the human element of a conversation is so far gone, and let alone in this long form content. It's like, dude, people probably aren't watching this. They're probably not listening because everyone's so caught up in like TikTok and scrolling. And it just reinforces your point of like, you wake up and you realize, how bad it was. You don't want that to happen again. So why the fuck are we scrolling on TikTok? What the fuck are we doing? Like, why are we? I don't know, dude. It's really frustrating, and I'm not perfect. Like, I fall victim of that too, and I get equally as pissed at myself as I would someone else, like just scrolling. So, you know, I'm I wouldn't say I'm hypocritical, but maybe I am a little bit.
Hmm.
Sorry,
Nah, I would say you're
I
not.
went on a little tangent. I went on a little tangent there, but you touched on a lot of valuable things that, dude, it's bigger than life. It really is. Like, like what purpose do we have, like, other than to listen to each other and like understand where we're all coming from? Like, dude, like we learn from each other so we can correct the future. And we can't correct the past, but we can build a better future, and really attack that way. So, I believe it on a micro level too, and I think these little conversations um, really like transcend these calls, and they impact my personal life and how I feel and how I think. So I've only done, I did one in private that I'd never uploaded. I did one with Trey, and then this one. And dude, I'm telling you, I've learned more about myself and the people around me than I ever thought I would, and maybe that's the form. It's like a little expedited shipping, little Amazon Prime action going on. But I don't know, dude. It's important. Do you feel like the value of the conversation, like the human element, as much as you did when you were a kid, or like, was there any? I don't know, dude. Because like, I don't know how to ask that question, but do you see what I see,
Yeah, I
like
get
with
what you're
people?
saying. Yeah, yeah. Because as a kid, like you're not really thinking about like the importance of a relationship, you know? You just try to artificially expand your circle of friends that you hang out with every day, but like obviously as time goes on, you really see people for who they are and like you like not cut them off, but like just start really valuing their relationships with people that you actually want to know and stuff. And I feel like those relationships, like those are the most valuable thing in life. Like, cause like the people around you are what really make you, like you said, like show me your friends, show me your future. Like you could really look at someone's friend and be like, all right, this dude is probably somewhat similar to, you know, his friends and stuff. And I just feel like that idea is so it's so weird to me because like you could know someone without ever meeting without ever meeting them just like based off like let's say like Jacob had a friend that we don't even know about, but he's like Jared. You know, you remember Jared? Like
Yeah,
I
I
had no
remember Jared.
idea. I didn't meet Jared until like a year ago, but like I always envisioned like just a similar Jacob, and that's what he ended up being. And I feel like I was like, dang, like you really are just like a Jacob, but you know, just a little bit different. And I feel like we all are, you know, me and you, we're just like Jacobs, but just like a little bit different.
No, definitely, definitely. And when you have that, that connection, like, when you and me get to talk, we realize that we're similar to each other, and it keeps going on. And if I introduce you to one of my homies, you'll realize like he's like me in this way, and so forth. It's just a never-ending spiral, and you're dead on. It's beautiful. One thing, a good friend of mine, Nico, he always said like, oh, a friend of anytime I introduced him to anyone, he would always say a friend of Brett's is a friend of mine, you know. And I really admired that way of thinking, and I think I literally said that to you when I met you. I was like, oh, a friend of Jacob's is a friend of mine. but I meant it. I think there's two different ends of it. You can say it and not mean that phrase, but genuinely, like a friend of Jake, like I trust Jacob's judgment so much that I don't care. Like if he introduces me to anyone, like I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and obviously like I'll come up with my own analysis, but if he stuck it out and he understands who this person is, like genuinely for who they are, I trust his judgment. You know, so when I
Hmm.
met you, I was like, hey, a friend of Jacob's a friend of mine, and I meant that. And that evolved into where we are now, and I'm very grateful that I've had the chance to meet you and get to know you on a personal level, and I again to double back on saying, hey, a friend of Brett's is a friend of mine and not meaning it and genuinely like, turning back and like talking shit about anyone I introduce you to, that that is not cool in my eyes. And not only are you disrespecting the people that I introduce you to, but you're also disrespecting like my judgment. Like you don't trust me to like introduce you to, someone that I love and trust. And that end of things is like where it gets really complex, and I don't know, man. It's it's like it's pretty depressing to be honest. Like the further you go down on the other side, you know.
Mm. Look, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna talk about something I want to talk about. Let me
Hit
think
it,
real
bro.
quick. And I'm gonna tell you the main thing I value in life.
Hit me.
Look, because I had a situation about a week ago I'll get into, but so I don't know. The main thing I want to, when people think of me, I want them to think of like, damn, like I've never seen Jesus not smile, I've never seen Jesus not laugh about life. Because there was a
Mm,
situation about a week ago where I was with my cousin and his girlfriend, and like, I don't know, they were just arguing, and I don't know, like something inside me, like, I never want to see anyone like mad or sad or anything like that, so I always like try my best to comfort them. So I was like cracking jokes, but I knew it was at the wrong time and stuff. So I was like, all right, like like, what do you want to talk about and stuff? And I just like, cause she like we would talk obviously, like not on a personal level. And then like I just told her like all my dreams and stuff, and she told me all like everything she wanted to do and stuff. And I feel like, and she ended up telling me, she's like, wow, I didn't know this side of you. Like, I didn't know you were like this type of person and stuff.
right.
But like, I don't know, cause like my cousin and stuff, and all my homies like outside of college and stuff, they're like the traditional, like they don't like to talk about their feelings and nothing like that. And I feel like I bring that out of them. Like I'm proud of that. Like I have never like I like a hug to me probably means more than like a hug to someone else, but like when I give a hug, I mean it for real.
Yeah,
I know
dude,
you
you hugged
know.
me the other day, bro, and that shit was like the most wholesome thing I've ever felt.
Hmm. But
Pause.
like go get back on track.
Go.
Like, dude, like I can't even think of the last time that like I just wasn't happy, and like I really value that. Cause like my cousins, I always trying to bring them up because they've had a hard in life, but like when people think of me, I want them to think like I've never seen Jesus not smile, I've never seen him not laugh. He's the happiest person I know, and then I want to bring that side out of people. Like I don't ever want to see anyone sad, I don't ever want to see anyone mad, because like life's too short for all that. And like realistically, like you're too like, you should never be mad or sad unless like something like really really happens. But like life is a blessing. And arguing like about trivial stuff, like I don't know, I just feel like that's a waste of I don't know everything. It's just a waste of your time. Like you
No, definitely.
should be grateful for everything.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
but then
I genuinely I want you to know, man, like I don't know, last semester of college, I gotta say I was like the most lost I've ever been in my fucking life. And I don't know, there was many factors that like played into it, but all I do remember is when you, me, Jacob would hang out. I'd be like, all the fucking stress and pressure is gone, and it's like I'm good, like I'm all right now. So, it is a testament to your character and like who you are. So I want you to know, like, I see you in that light, and I want I want you to like keep pursuing that version of you that you want to be, because, you know, the world deserves to like have someone like that in their life. And the fact that I have that in you, it's incredible, dude. So just know I'm super appreciative, and I see your vision, and I support you along the way. And when it comes to those days where it's hard for you to fucking muster a smile, just know I'm gonna be on the other end, fucking, making jokes and trying to fucking cheer you up, because that's what we do, you know. Um, so I see you in that light, bro.
Yeah, because like, even today, even like nowadays, like when I'm in class and I have school from like 9 a.m. to like 3 p.m. Like after every class, I'm like, all right, but at least at the end of this, I get to see Jacob and Brett. At least at the end of this, I have something to like to say the day was good. And I
Right?
don't know, there's just
That's far too wholesome, bro. That's so that's so sweet. Cause like,
yeah, because
but
realistically, I'm
dude,
not like I feel like I'm an open book, but I'll never like tell you like the big three. Like I'll never like the day I say that is the day I mean it.
right?
And
It
because I feel
definitely
like
means more, dude. Definitely means
like,
more.
that's what I was about to say. Like I feel like I was just like I feel like if I do it less, like because like you could hug everyone, you could say I love you to everyone, and like people will eventually understand like that doesn't really mean much because it means like different things to everybody. But like for me, like I feel like I want to make those things valuable. I want it to be a memorable time when like I hug you or I tell you I love you. But like,
Right.
cause I don't know. I feel like people just be throwing around too loosely. Like I see like girls hug each other, and like when like for me, I'd only do it like under like only certain circumstances and stuff, and I'm like, and sometimes I have those like thoughts like, damn, am I being an asshole for not like hugging someone or stuff like that, or like not being more like expressive about my emotions. Because I remember there's times when like Jacob would say something to be like, damn, bro, like you never show your emotions or nothing like that. And I'm like, the day I show, like you, because he knows I love him, but I'll never show it in public because like he knows deep down like I would take a bullet for him. But I'll never like I don't even think to be honest, I don't think I've ever hugged Jacob in my life. Not that I could think of, but
Bro, dude,
like
hug
that's been my
me.
day one. That was my day one since seventh grade.
Right.
And
No,
because
dude.
I nah you
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It definitely provides more value to those words and to the actions. I will say though, like when my grandfather passed away, I've never wanted to express how much I loved my family and how much I loved my friends more than after that. And it really took that death, and like for sure I was like naturally affectionate to all of them, but it just came from such a deeper place of like, oh my God, I understand this is all temporary. Like I understand it now. Like I'm gonna enjoy every moment I have with these people, and I'm gonna let them know, like I love you. I fucking, I can't wait to see you again. And it might come off as corny, it might come off as, air quotes gay, as as some people call it, but I think there is a level of respect that I've developed to time, and I understand like people change, people pass, and people come in and out of your life, and for me not to like fully appreciate that and not let them know how I feel feels wrong to me, you know. And for sure they could probably derive how I feel from the way I act, but I think just from my perspective it was like, dude, when my grandpa passed and we're at the funeral and everyone's, you're with your whole family and everyone's crying over this person's life, that is a whole nother level of legacy that I will, always cherish. And that really, led to me wanting like a huge funeral when I pass. Of like, I want people to feel my death in a sense, or and feel my life to where they can, bond over said adversity, to connect it back to the beginning of this podcast. But um, I think that whole end of things really, really changed my perspective. Um, so again, I admire what you're doing, and I admire that whole aura that you want to represent, and it's true because it does provide more meaning. But there's also different ways to get to that meaning if you shift your perspective. And you know, I I'm not sure, dude. Like it's such a like David Goggins and
Yep.
Jordan Peterson. Like
Hmm.
Jordan Peterson's a massive intellectual, and David Goggins is like just a badass, like fucking military man, endurance athlete. And they're on these two completely separate paths, yet they come up with like dead on same conclusions, you know, like stay hard, just all this shit, dude. Like it's very in line with each other, and yet these people have two completely different perspectives on everything, but they found like a deep rooted sense of meaning. So I think it is possible to get to the same conclusion from two different ends, and I think that's why we aren't that dissimilar from each other. You know, I think we both want to get to the same place. It's just a matter of, we're on our own waves getting there. But at the end, dude, you're gonna tell me you love me. You're gonna give me a hug.
Out one day.
I got the hug, bro. That was far too
You have to
wholesome.
have.
Dude, you went double over. I've never felt that from another dude, bro. That was crazy. I almost picked you up, bro. Dude, that's so good. But but dude, talk to me about college. College. Talk to me about switching your major. What inspired that? Where'd you come from? Where are you now? And like, are you happy with that decision?
Okay, so let me bring a little bit before that. So me and Jacob, we would have like damn near every class together, and the whole senior year, I don't know, every time I go to class, even my teachers, they'd be like, "All right, what do you want to do?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I still have no idea, you know." But then Jacob, Jacob didn't either. But we knew we were going to college at that point, and we knew like we wanted to do something. But then there was I remember a day specifically in our physics class, and the teacher asked me what I wanted to do, and I set my mind to kinesiology, and then Jacob was like, "Oh, like really? Like that's I didn't think it, you know, like because I didn't even tell him, but in my head I was like, all right, this is what I want to do and stuff." And she asked Jacob, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do finance," and like he told me all this stuff about like what he's gonna do and how he's gonna do it and stuff. And like yeah, I said what I was gonna do, but like I didn't know like what I was gonna do if you get what I'm saying, you know. But
Right.
then first year comes around, I lived at the dorms. And I had a roommate for the first semester. He ended up leaving second semester, but that perspective from the first semester, yeah, the first semester was important because like it's just a big change from high school. Like people are like paying to go there and stuff. Like they're taking time. Like they're not forced to be there. They're there because they want to. But like they're still like the same types of people from high school. Like I found it crazy that like, you're paying for college and stuff, but like you know school's not for you, and like you're pursuing something that you don't want to do. Like I could never understand that. Never a day in my life. Like why you waste so much time and so much money doing something that deep down you didn't even want to do. And then yeah, but I loved all the classes I did. First semester I did like biology and all that stuff. But then towards the end of the first semester, like, because you got to understand, like, it was just me in that room every single day in the night, you know, for all the second semester. And there'd be days where I was like, damn, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, but is this something I really want to do, you know? Is this something I really want to pursue? And I always think back to that day when it was me and Jacob in that physics class, and Like he already knew what he wanted to do and stuff, and I was like, all right, what do I want to do? You know, like deep down, what do I want to do? And that's when I like made the decision. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna change majors to finance. Cause like deep down, all I really wanted to do was like make money, you know, anyway, anyhow. Like I didn't care how I got it. I didn't care what I did for it. Deep down, like what I'm really working towards is money, you know. But then like I started thinking like, cause I had like a whole group of friends in in the first year that like, I still talk to them and stuff. But like they were all like, yeah, I'm gonna start my own practice and open up my own firm and stuff. Like they had ambition and goals that I never even thought of. Like I was just on the surface level, like, yeah, I become a physical therapist, you know. Like I know I could have done it because I did good and stuff, but it was like, do I really want to spend 8 years doing something that I like deep down I don't even want to do, you know? I really want to spend all that time and all that money when I don't even have the ambition of my own friends, you know? Like they were like, yeah, these 4 years, like it's gonna be nothing. I'm gonna go grad school, get my master's, and then eventually open up my own firm and stuff. And like I always respect them because like that's like no one, no, I don't know anyone that has that type of ambition, but it really put into perspective. Like, damn, like I don't have that ambition. Do I really want to do this? You know? And that's when I reconnected with Jacob and we talked about like, damn, I'm gonna switch majors. Like, I don't know. What do you recommend? He's like, oh, you just like come do finance with me. And I was like, you know what? Like, you've always been there. We've been close. Like, I have no reason not to trust you, you know? And that's when I made that jump, second semester. But then, you know, since then, I've been doing my thing, you know?
It's good,
But
dude.
yeah,
Do you like
I still
finance so far?
yeah, so far, like, just the idea of going into class and talking about money, like, just excites me, you know? I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know why it excites me. I don't know how it excites me, but just the idea of like going into accounting and reading over a balance sheet, like that's like I really found, you know, my passion. But like
Good.
it's not like I didn't have a passion for kinesiology and wanting to be like if it was like just 4 years, boom, become a physical therapist, like I'd do that in a heartbeat. But just the idea of like it's 4 years, then the two, then another two, then like all that time and all that money. Like in the long term, I don't think it was gonna be worth it for me. 'Cause like my friends, they're like they had a different view on that time. You know, they're thinking this time was gonna be short. There's gonna be fun. It was, but in my head, I was like these 4 years, like I gotta do something with that. Like after these 4 years, I want to be done with school. I want to get started on like the my foundation for what I'm gonna do. You know,
Right.
because after 4 years, they're still gonna be in school. They're still gonna be learning, and I'm like, that's not something I want to do. You know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, no, dude. I'm glad you found your passion because, I and it might change. Like genuinely, like it
Yep.
might you might fucking like next year you might be like, I'm not fucking finance, I want to switch it. And that's okay because again, we're so young and we have so much time on our hands and there's a professor here, his name's uh Professor McCarthy, and he said, he's like, fuck your passion. He's like, that only gets you so far. He's like, at some point you just have to rely on like grit and you just have to get the work done. Is this something that you want to do without passion? Is the question you should ask yourself before you go into a career. And I think there's a lot of merit within that statement because, dude, you're gonna wake up some days and not want to go to work. You're not gonna want to fucking go home and still be thinking about this type of work. And on those days, it's like, do you think you can get through those days in this occupation? And it's the most interesting question ever. It's like, do I know the answer for me? Fuck no. I'm still just trying to find myself and find myself in that process. But all I know is regardless, I'm going to be growing as much as I can personally. Even if my career falters, even if my career, starts to dwindle a little, I know physically, mentally I'll be, on the rise. And if I'm on the rise here, I'll be on the rise there. And same goes for my career in regards to my mental health. Like if my mental health's down here, my career's going up, and my physical health's going up, like it'll bring it up with it. And that's just how I've been feeling about my life, and it complicates things way less. It if you think about it as in those like little three tiers or however you want to break it down, it just makes sense. So, I'm glad you found your passion, and I'm glad you're on the right track there, and you made the switch. And it's crazy that it came from uh, that feeling of family in a sense, and the feeling of trust that you had in someone, to where you were questioning what you were doing, and you just took a leap of faith and took a made a very trusting decision in someone that you care about deeply. So there's a lot of value in that, dude. You're nuts. Jacob's nuts, dude. And I feel like we have to cap off this podcast by just saying thank you to Jacob for just being a fucking stud, dude. Jacob's awesome. I met Jacob last year, and dude, the second I met him, I was like, I know this guy and I we're gonna get along, and it couldn't be more true. We're moving in together in September, and he's had a huge impact on my life in just a year's time, and the fact that he introduced you and me, I don't know, dude, it makes me laugh because I didn't think I'd be. I literally was in a place last year, dude, before I met Jacob. I was like, I'm gonna be so focused on school. I'm gonna be so like alone, and that's okay because I just broke up with my girlfriend. I moved up to Tempe, and I had been living with her for like a year prior, and I just, dude, I was so lost, and I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna literally go to class, AirPods in, and just fucking lock in and just be by myself. I was okay with being alone, and then I ended up sitting at a table with Jacob, dude, and we clicked like that. And I remember he was telling me stories about you, dude, and he looks up to, like, he holds you at a very high standard. And I wouldn't say he looks up to you. That's not for me to say or anything. So, but he definitely holds you to a high standard, and he talks very highly of you. So, um, that was amazing to see. So I knew, if he talks about you highly, I knew when I met you, um, I was gonna feel the same, and even more so now after this podcast, dude. Just like getting to, hear your stories and hear how you think about the world and get your perspective on things. It's an incredible thing. So, I'm very proud of you, and I'm excited to see where you go, and hopefully we can jump on one of these again, fucking a couple months down the line, and we can have a whole separate conversation about what's been going on, what's happened, and I'll be looking forward to that. But in the interim, obviously, like, you and me are gonna be chopping it up and hanging out. So I'm excited, man.
Yep, day by day. That's how we do
Day,
it.
day by day.
Look, I'll
So
never look. We you show this to Jacob, we gonna skip over this part, but like I don't even know what I'd do without him. Like I'm being for real. Like, dude, funny enough, I don't know if I ever told you, but like, dude, he used to be a bully, bro. Yep, believe it or not. Believe it or not, like I'll never like we were gonna skip over this if we ever like showed to him, but dude, there was days where I didn't have a ride home and like no questions asked, he'd be like, "Oh, like come with me," and
yeah,
we lived on completely opposite sides of each other, but like no problem. He took me home every day for like the whole year, and when like I would miss the bus, and I like try to act like I had a ride home, like coming, but realistically I didn't have nothing. And like worst case scenario, I was gonna like there's days where I would walk home like before Jacob would take me home because I'd miss the bus because the buses were some hoes, bro. They would not let you in like if you're late. But yeah, like he would take me home, and I feel like looking back on those days, like I feel like I'm more expressive about my emotions now. But like back in the day, I'd be like, oh, like yeah, like peace out, bro. But like deep down, I was like, dude, I don't know what I'd do if he didn't take me home. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't meet Jacob. And I feel like, dude, like I'm just proud of myself that I've like evolved as a person like, emotionally. Because I don't know if it's like I don't want to say it's like deep rooted in my childhood, but I, I guess like since a child, I've just been like that, like that. Like I'll never talk about my feelings. I'll never express them. Like, I was just there,
yeah,
existing with everyone. But there's like just the combination of like my cousins and like Jacob. specifically him, especially my family, because dude, I don't know, it'd be hard when even your own mom is like, oh, like you're not as like I don't feel the love anymore, from your own mom. Like it'd be like that sometimes, and that's like when you gotta be like, damn, like I gotta start telling people I appreciate them, because like it's like people will know, but they won't really know until you tell them. And I feel
Right.
like it's important every now and then to let them know, make sure they're aware that you appreciate them.
Good, bro. Yeah, it definitely I don't know, dude, just hearing how you've evolved and even seeing it in person, like I don't know, dude, it's incredible. And you're right, dude. The fact that you haven't, hit people with the "I love you," the fact that you don't fucking, you're not overly affectionate physically, like, no homo, and the fact that, like, it's, I don't know, dude. It does provide more value to like when you truly open up and to when you truly um, express how you feel, and it means more. So, I take it for what it is, and obviously, like, you and me are always good. Like, I've never questioned like your belief in me or the belief in the group or whatever. I know it's always there. I know you're always, in support, and just know it goes both ways. If I don't show it, just know I feel it, and you know, I'm gonna see you fucking grow, and you're gonna see me grow, and that's how it's gonna be. You know, and we'll get through it.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that's everything that I had lined up on my end, man. But again, thank you to Jacob for help, like literally everything. Like that motherfucker has been in my life for a year again. I said it, but and he's already provided so much value to me, and I hope I can do the same for him. But even just him introducing me to you is all the value I needed. So I appreciate you, Jesus. Thank you for doing this with me, man. And I hope you had fun along the way.
Yeah, I did. Cause like, I feel like it's important to like just talk about that stuff every now and then. Cause I don't know, I feel like it's hard to have that connection with people where you're able to open up like that. And I'm glad like you're the type of person to where like I can open up to and not feel like, cause like I don't know, there's just a lot of people in this world. Like my cousins, like, if I would try to open up, they'd be like, "Oh, like bro, you gay? Like what you trying to do? Like stuff like that." But it's important to also have those other friends that are opening to hearing what you got going on. But
Definitely,
like
absolutely, man.
you know,
Yeah, and I'm here every step of the way. Like if you ever need to talk, like that's what we do. So. Perfect, man. Yeah, this has been episode 2 of BNF. Like, thank you guys so much for fucking tuning in, and I hope you learned something about yourself in the process. But thank you.